CBSE Class 9 Math Extra Practice question. This is from the chapter Surface Areas and Volumes. The concept that we are going to be looking at is basically lateral surface area of cuboids. It's an easy question. The ceiling of a rectangular room has a perimeter of 576 inches. The ceiling has a perimeter of 576 inches. If 432 square tiles, each of side 12 inches, cover the four walls of the room, what is the height of the wall in feet? 1 foot equals 12 inches is what is given. We're going to be solving this question using two methods. Start with the first method. For the first method, the core idea that I'm going to be using is basically this. Where are we using these tiles? We're using these tiles to tile the four walls. So area of all the tiles that we have used should be equal to the area of the four walls. So on the left hand side, I'm going to compute area of the four walls. On the right hand side, I'm going to compute area of all the tiles used. I'll have one variable in the process, which is going to be the height of the room. We'll find out the height of the room using that process. So let's assign a variable for the height of the room. I'm going to assign in method 1 the height of the room. The variable I'm going to take is an h, and the variable is in units, which is in inches. Why am I choosing inches despite the question asking us to find it out in terms of number of feet? We have the perimeter of the ceiling in terms of number of inches. We have the side of the tile in terms of number of inches. So let's compute the height in terms of number of inches and then finally convert it into number of feet. So on the left hand side, I'm going to have area of all four walls. This is my left hand side. Right hand side, I'm going to have area of all tiles that have been used. Right. I'm going to start with the right hand side because it's so easy to compute. Area of one tile is equal to area of the square. It's a side 12 inches tile. So area of the square is going to be equal to 12 times 12. This is area of one tile. How many tiles do we use? We're using 432 tiles. So area of all of these tiles is going to be equal to 432 times 12 times 12. Don't make the mistake of computing this number and finding out the answer. It's never worth it. They'll give you numbers in such a way that it will cancel out on the left hand side and on the right hand side. So do some calculations here and there and take it to a midway point and stop there. This number 12 into 12 is easy to calculate. Let's just calculate and stop at that point. So this is 432 into 144. This is where I'm going to stop the right hand side for the time being. Let's go to the left hand side. We need to find out area of all four walls, right? Four walls. This room again. Look at the four walls. This is, let's say, the wall along the length. Length into height is going to give us the area of this wall. So in a room, we have four walls. There will be two walls along the length. There will be two walls along the width. Area of each wall is going to be length into height, length into height. The ones along the length, the ones along the width, area is going to be width into height. So area of all four walls together will be 2 times of LH, LH plus LH, and 2 times of WH, WH plus WH. So area of all four walls is equal to 2 LH plus 2 WH. 2 is common to both these parts, H is common to both these parts. I'm going to take both of them common. So leave us with 2 times of L plus W times H. H is what we are trying to find out. Do we have values of L and W? Do we have the length and width of the room? No. But we have something else. We have the perimeter of the ceiling. Perimeter of the ceiling or perimeter of the floor. What is going to be the perimeter? Length, width, length, width. Because the floor or the ceiling is a rectangle, its perimeter is 2 times of L plus W. So 2 times of L plus W is given to us in terms of 576 inches. So let's replace that here. So area of all four walls is equal to 576 times H. So left hand side is done 576 H. Right hand side is 432 times 144. These two are equal. That's a premise on which I started this question. So only variable that's left is equal to height. So 576 H is equal to 432 into 144. So height is equal to 432 times 144 divided by 576. 576 and 144 will cancel. 4 times 144 is equal to 576. 432 and 4 will cancel. 400 by 4 is 100. 32 by 4 is equal to 8. So this is equal to 108. So found out the height. How have we found out this height? We found out the height in terms of number of inches. So height of this wall is equal to 108 inches. The question is asking us to find it out in terms of number of feet. 12 inches equals 1 foot. So 108 inches will be equal to 108 divided by 12. That is equal to 9 feet. So height of the wall is equal to 9 feet. Method 1 is done. The core idea for method 1 is the area of all tiles used is equal to area of the four walls. Right? Done. Method 1. We'll move on to method 2. Method 2 moves as follows. Method 2, the idea that I'm going to use is basically this. We're not going to compute the area as we did last time. This time what I'm going to find out is how many tiles are required to tile just one row of all four walls. Right? Look at one wall. This is one row, we are tiling it. How many tiles are required to tile all four walls? Just for a moment, if we assume the length of one of the rooms is equal to 72 inches. Width of each tile is 12 inches. So you'll require 72 divided by 12. I'm not saying that the width of this room is 72. I'm just saying, let's assume for a moment, had it been 72, you'll require 6 tiles to tile it. So all four walls taken together, what is the total length of tiles required to tile one row? That is going to be the perimeter of this room. Length plus width plus length plus width is the total length that you're going to cover. So first step is we are computing number of tiles in one row of all four walls. All four walls taken together, the length covered is 576 inches. Each tile width is equal to 12 inches. So 576 divided by 12, you will require 48 tiles for one row. Now let's say this entire height is covered using n such rows, right? This is row number 1, row number 2, row number 3, so on and so forth. We are covering this entire wall with n rows of tiles. Each row you have 48 tiles. In all n rows taken together, you will have n times 48 tiles. How many tiles did we use totally? We have used a total of 432 tiles. So step 1, we found out the number of tiles in one row of our four walls. Step 2, we are saying, let's say, let there be n such rows required to cover this entire height. So each row 48, n rows. So 48 times n is going to be the total number of tiles used. You know the total number of tiles used is equal to 432. So step 2, we are going to compute the number of rows. N is equal to 432 divided by 48. 48 times 10 is 480. 48 times 9, which is 1 less than 480. 480 minus 48 is a 432. So n becomes 9. So how many rows of tiles are required? We require 9 rows of tiles. What is this question? This question is not about how many rows of tiles. It's about what is the height of the wall. One row of the tile, the height is equal to 12 inches, which is equal to 1 foot, right? 12 inches is the height of the tile. How many such rows are we using? We're using 9 rows. So height of the room is equal to 9 rows and height of each row, which is equal to 1 foot. So final answer is equal to 9 feet. We got the same 9 feet with the last method too, right? Pick whichever method you want. First method was equating the areas. Second method is computing the number of tiles per row and then finding out how many rows are required if 432 tiles are used. I'm going to quickly summarize it in about 10 seconds for each method. So it consolidates this idea for you. Start with the first method. This is how it basically works. Area of four walls is equal to area of all tiles used. I'm going to assume one variable, which is the height of the room, and I'm going to assume it in a variable of h inches. So step 1, we're going to compute the area of all four walls. Area of all four walls basically is 2 times of LH plus 2 times of WH, which is 2 times of L plus W into H. 2 times of L plus W is nothing but the perimeter of the room, which is equal to 576. So area of all four walls is 576H. Step 1 done. We'll call it as 1. Step 2, let's compute the area of all tiles used. Each tile is of side 12 inches. We are using 432 such tiles. These are square tiles. So area of all tiles is equal to 432 into 12 times 12, which is 432 into 144. Area of all four walls is equal to area of all tiles used. So equate 1 and 2, we'll have the answer. Equated 1 and 2, 576H is equal to 432 into 144. So H becomes 108 inches. We want the answer in terms of number of feet. Divide 108 by 12. That gives us the answer in terms of number of feet. So height of the wall is equal to 9 feet. Method 1 done. Quickly run through method 2. We are finding out the number of tiles in one row of all four walls. The total length covered in one row will be equal to the perimeter, which is 576 inches. Side of each tile is equal to 12 inches. So how many such tiles will be required? 576 divided by 12, which is 48 tiles. One row, 48 tiles. How many rows are used? Total number of tiles, which is 432, divided by number of tiles per row will give us the number of rows used. 432 divided by 48 is equal to 9. So at this step, step 2, we have the number of rows. All that is required is to find out the height of each row. Height of each row is essentially the height or the side of each tile, which is equal to 12 inches, which is equal to 1 foot. So 9 such rows, the total height is going to be equal to 9 feet. So method 2, finding out the number of tiles per row and then finding out the answer. Method 1, equating the areas and finding the answer. Leave us your feedback about this new method in which we are teaching. Normally we used to have a screen capture way of doing questions. This time we got an interactive flat panel. I'd like to have your comments, feedback as to if you really like it, anything that we can do to make it more interesting and engaging. Looking forward to your comments. Best wishes.